We're going to get it started just like this here. Welcome to Dante's Inferno, y'all. I'm your host, Dante Quitman, man. This is the dopest, hottest podcast in the game. I got a very special guest, man. He's going to be interviewing me a little bit, actually. Now, give it up for Kenny Murry.
Yeah, hey, what's
Mr.
going
Kenny
on, y'all?
Murry.
I gotta say it's an honor to be on, dog. I'm a huge fan, and
Nice.
I told you off camera, but I gotta give you kudos for your grind. This is far from easy. It takes a lot of discipline, motivation, and seeing you pursue this as well as just all your book shows, all your endeavors, man. I'm a big fan.
Appreciate
you inspired
that, my
the shit
G.
out of me, man.
Thank you, my guy.
100%.
Just
Yeah.
had to have you on, man. You got a real dope lexicon.
Thank
and
you,
you know, tell the people like I know more about your journalism side. Like you're also a stand-up comedian,
Yes,
but I
sir.
really wanted to talk more about the journalism because I feel like that's something that's like
100%.
dying out.
Yeah,
so it's
man.
dope that you still, you know, keeping that alive. Like not doing clickbait and stuff, but you be
I
doing some real
really-
dope interviews. Y'all check out my man's stuff.
Thank you.
But
That really means a lot, bro. I
yeah,
really
man.
appreciate that.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Let's get into it though. What got you before we do comedy? What got you into the journalism? What was that about?
Yeah, no. So I mean, it's an interesting story. I never even knew I could do journalism as a career until maybe junior year of high school.
Okay.
They end up offering a course, which was basically yearbook. So you spend the whole year
Oh,
setting
yeah,
yearbook
yeah,
up,
yeah.
interviewing, let's say the class president,
Yeah.
homecoming queen, shit like that. And I always knew from, I want to say when I was 5 years old, I wanted to make a career as a writer. Though I get called a television autistic, and this is going to prove that a lot of these niggas are right. But there was a show when I was 5 years old called Laverne and Shirley. It was like this old school Gary Marshall joint that originated in the 70s. My mom was a big fan. I used to watch it every time I came back from pre-K. And I realized at a young age, I didn't have the words for it, but I realized that there were other people behind the camera who were creating like the jokes and the script. Do you know what I mean? I was aware that there was something more than just the actors bringing the whole, production together. So the older I got, the more I would write my own stories. I would write comics based on like, the Foster's, Home for Imaginary Friends, all the old school Cartoon Network shit. I realized in middle school I wanted to pursue screenwriting, directing. It wasn't until high school that I realized that journalism may be the best middle ground starting out to where I could make a career telling a story while at the same time not having to just dive right into try and get staffed on the show and try, because I heard so many horror stories about people who just moved to LA to move to LA. And then they're
I don't
working
understand
3
that
jobs.
shit,
Yeah, they're working 3 jobs till they're fucking 35 trying to break in and shit like that, going from apartment to apartment, all this other. I was like, if I could do something to where I'm still pursuing my passion, but doing it in a way that I could naturally progress all while having a financially, stable income, why not do it?
Yeah.
And praise God, because it served me well the past couple of years.
That's what's up, man. What so like you got to get a job over at WABE doing some interview work there, but
Yes, sir.
you got like a list of crazy roster, man. Who's some of the
It's
people
a
that you
blessing.
interviewed?
Man, I mean, first off, God is so good because
No,
I would
definitely.
have never imagined when I first began there in 2022 that God would give me the opportunity, as well as my incredible supervisors there, to interview, faces that I admired ever since I was 3 or 4 years old. So I mean, on the comedy side, Jim Gaffigan, Lunell, not Ice Cube. Ice Cube, not a comedian, of course. I interviewed Ice Cube, but also 2 Marlon Wayans, Roy
Nice,
Wood Jr.
Oh man.
It's been a lot. Crystal Fox, who's one of Tyler Perry's stars, multiple productions, so I'm a huge fan of. I grew up watching with my mom when I was little.
For sure.
It's been insane to think about the amount of people I've been able to speak with and learn from. And this one's a little more niche, but Maurice Bernard, he's on a show called General Hospital,
Nice.
which I used to watch every day with my grandmother in elementary
me too.
school.
Me
And I
too.
remember Sonny Corinthos, so I remember literally telling her I want to be Sonny when I grow up, and like 20 years later, I'm interviewing him,
That's
man.
fire, bro.
You would never imagine something like that coming into fruition. And it's just been the greatest gift, and I'm so thankful that God's continued to allow me to have these opportunities.
Yeah, man. Isn't it crazy how like you'll meet somebody and like you be so fanned out, like after a while, after you've done after you've met like a couple of like, I guess what do you call it, celebrities or A-list celebrities, it's just like after you get to like that 9th, 10th one, you're like, man, it's just regular people. Like you're always
100%.
you you got this like big like look of how you view them because of on screen and stuff, but
Oh yeah, and I'm
regular
sure.
people.
And I can't believe I forgot her, Lisa Ann Walter from
Lisa Ann
Abbott
Walter.
Elementary.
Shout out
I know
Lisa
she
Ann
did
Walter.
Helium,
Yeah.
but I always use her as a great example, someone who's had decades-long success,
Yeah.
but is still so kind and gracious,
Humble and just
and never shies away from the fact that it's her fans who have allowed her the opportunity to continue to make a living off of what she does. And I also too. Not a celebrity I interviewed, but I want to give a major shout out to a couple of my co-hosts at WABE because they really instilled in me, and this is something I try to like bring forward in comedy. These are people who have won multiple Emmy Awards, Peabody Awards, are very acclaimed in the journalism industry. But they go out their way to treat every single person in the building, whether it's the CEO or custodial worker, with the same dignity and respect. And you have people who have their own shows, who've been doing this for years, who have a strong fan base, who take time out to pick up trash or napkins they see on the floor, to help restock the refrigerator, to go up to college interns and introduce themselves and offer them encouragement, and
those are
support.
good lessons for anybody to
Yeah,
have.
man.
Just words of wisdom to live by.
100%, and that's what I've seen with a lot of the celebrities I've been blessed to interview. All of them have gone above and beyond to treat me as though I'm an equal and instill in me the same amount of support and the same amount of overall just joy.
Nice.
Joy and happiness that so many instilled in them when they were first coming up. I think
Who's,
that's a truly beautiful thing to see.
If you could pick, like, who was your favorite interviewee, favorite person, favorite
Yeah.
interview, which one was it?
Oh,
You can only
man.
pick one.
That's difficult. I think, because it sounds so corny, they all mean so much to
Yeah,
me
of
for
course
so
they
many
do. Those
reasons.
are amazing people, not just celebrities. You actually dope. Like,
Yeah.
they are celebrities, but the ones you named are just actual like dope people.
Yeah.
Like, interesting,
I
genuine
mean-
people. But who was your favorite at all of them? Favorite interview that you done?
So, I mean, there is one that I didn't name. This wasn't for radio, but a print article I did for a show called Beyond the Gates. And it's the first black soap opera in television history.
Oh,
where
yeah,
it features a
I've
majority
seen it,
black
yeah.
cast. And they film right here in Atlanta,
Atlanta,
too,
they
out in
do.
Doraville. But one of the lead actors on there, Clifton Davis.
Nice.
I saw him as a child on a show called Amen, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
was obsessed with. So, number one, being able to speak with him overall was just a huge privilege. But at the same time, number two, being able to hear him say, as a man who's been in the entertainment industry for 6 decades, that he feels so much pride coming onto a set and seeing black head of hair, black camera operators, black sound technicians. This is a man who's been doing this for over 60 years, and
years.
this
You didn't
television
see no
show was a
stuff like
first
that.
it was fucking mind blowing,
First
man.
40, probably first 40, no, first
100%.
50 years probably. That's
Yeah,
really just
man.
the last 10 years where it's been like all black.
Exactly,
So
man.
that is, yeah.
It blew my mind, and also too, some interest that he shared with me that I think a lot of people don't know. Back in the day, a lot of those shows that had all black cast were typically majority white behind
writers,
the scenes,
white
white
cameraman,
writers,
white
white
makeup
directors.
department.
Exactly. So I mean, I couldn't even imagine being. I mean, I'm thankful first and foremost for the representation overall. Let
Yeah.
me say that because it did make a difference. But I couldn't imagine being in his shoes. Like That's My Mama, Amen, whatever, going on a show. And
All
you're
those shows,
performing,
Good Times, the
yeah,
Jeffersons,
man,
all white writers.
performing in front of someone who looks like you, and then looking out behind, like
The audience.
and
and
in the audience and behind the camera, you see no one who looks like you.
Yeah.
So I mean, that will always stick with me. I feel like that was definitely the most meaningful interview
Shout
in
out to
terms of
Clifton
entertainment
Davis.
I've had a chance to do. 100%, man.
Definitely, man. That's some fire stuff, man. You got to do some real groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, and also too, I know this is entertainment based, but something similar that touched me in the same vein was when I got to interview Andrew Young back in 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, how was that?
I don't even have the words,
So,
honestly.
yeah,
Like,
sensational.
because once again, this is someone who I admired ever since I was young. If you grew up in Atlanta, you knew about Jose Feed the Hungry, which is like, now it's year round, but back in the day, it used to be annual every holiday season. And they go to multiple churches in the area collecting, canned foods, things of that nature to give to those who are, without homes or without adequate food for Thanksgiving and Christmas. One of Dr. King's right-hand man, I grew up learning about this man in history class and shit. So to be able to actually talk to him and, like, for him to, and like, I'm gonna start crying like a little bitch now. I'm gonna try and see if I brought one of my maxi packs in my book bag. But for him to like tell me like he didn't even see journalists who looked like us back when he was doing that, how proud he was of me and our current generation of young journalists for continuing to be efficient in our work and continuing to make a pathway. I mean, someone who's literally changed the way that we're seen throughout society and the rights that we have today, for him to be kind enough to say that is
sit down and just
I couldn't. I
whenever
mean,
people like
still
that just
processing
treat you
that,
like a regular person. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
does. It changes your whole perspective on
100%, and it just shows too that older veterans like that, there's such a sense of security and there's such a sense of knowing their own worth and their value to where they know
gotta
that
protect them.
they know that they
protect
don't
our
have
legends.
to bring anybody, especially the younger generation, down in order to build themselves up.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a beautiful thing that I wish some people our own age would realize.
You got to get back towards that.
Yeah, there's room for
It used to be
especially
unity, and now it's more division.
Absolutely,
Crazy.
bro. And I feel like, especially with blacks overall, whether it be in comedy, whether it be in the corporate world, we always just sort of self-destruct in the sense that we just automatically say there can only be one black. We don't even allow ourselves to see that there's room for all of us to grow. We automatically put ourselves in competition instead of uplifting. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's weird. It's like another version. I don't want to get too deep, but it's like another version of a genocide to an extent. Because instead of them enforcing
our own necks.
Exactly,
crazy,
bro. Man. It's like they're just looking at us tear each other apart, kill each other off, so to speak. And they already know we're so powerful when we're united. The best thing to, weaken us is to keep us separate or keep us in the mindset of hating each other. Or feeling threatened by one another.
Gotta climb out of that.
100%, man. Especially in a spot like Atlanta, there's no excuse why we're still diving into that type of mindset, bro.
It's pretty much all black city. We can't be doing that.
100%, 110%, man.
What got you into like comedy? Is it journalism took you there, or that was completely different?
No. So actually, I've been writing my own sketches and shit like that. We were talking about it off camera, but I'm a huge fan of all that. That was one of the first shows I ever saw to where it was like, okay, I need to be in television, whether it be in the writer's room, whether it be on camera. It's like, I need to be in this industry.
Yeah.
So I want to say beginning 6th grade, I started writing my own comedy sketches. That led to me writing my own comedy pilots. And in high school, I had the realization where it's like, okay, I'm writing all this shit, but unless I get like a development deal, like there's no way I can get this shit produced. So what can I do in order to make sure that people are at least able to hear my work and see my work? And that's when I decided to do stand-up for the senior talent show. Got a couple of laughs, did not win because all my jokes were like inside based upon like the school faculty or whatever. And then all of the judges were brought from different schools to keep it fair. So I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Yeah.
But that escalated to where when I got to Georgia State, same thing, writing all these jokes, writing all these sketches, having no way to really have an outlet for it. I realized that if I wanted to have it heard, I would have to go back to stand-up. So it's a little unconventional compared to a lot of our peers and shit like that. I never really grew up looking at the Eddie Murphy specials or dreaming about, having my own sold-out show at Madison Square Garden, thing like that. I think it was just mainly just the love of comedy and the love of being able to perfect my own artistry that led me to want to do, stand-up.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's a great. I always like hearing people's journey into it because it's all different,
Yeah, man.
I like that though. So did you have any like comedic inspirations? Like, did you have comedians that you like? So even though you didn't watch it that much.
Yeah, no. So it's interesting. Not really stand-up, but comedic actors. Like we were talking about Keenan and Kel earlier.
Of course.
Top two. Bro, the timing, the energy, the natural, and it sounds, I mean, a lot of people don't do stand-up, don't realize this, but it takes a lot of work to come off so natural, like you're just having a regular conversation.
Especially
and you're
acting.
and you're not trying to be funny, and you're not trying to be over the top. So them, all the Disney and Nickelodeon stars, for lack of a better words, just because I always thought it was so intriguing, the fact, even as a young kid, I was like, holy fuck, they're like my age, but yet they're learning lines. I was like, it blew me away, you know what I mean? So just, they encouraged me to have anything, because not all of them were like Oscar winners. Some of that shit, you look back, I tried watching Soy 101, for example. I had to buy a Bud Light across the street from the liquor store to get through that shit. So they weren't all 5-star talents, but still, that they inspired me, I guess, to want to work harder and want to work to perfect my craft.
So it was more like the comedic actors that got you in?
100%. I used to grow up watching old school sitcoms, so like we were saying, Good Time. Sherman Hensley was a huge influence. I thought he was funny as fuck. Marla Gibbs, Jack Kay, Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley. My boy Henry Winkler, the Fonz. Raven Simone. A Different World. I remember watching that and thinking, Dwayne, exactly, bro. Not just the comedic talent, but also too, at least with the character. I mean, it felt great as a young kid just seeing that, okay, he's not the hood nigga, he's not like the NFL player, but he still has value. He still got a beautiful woman in Whitley. He's not afraid to take pride in being intelligent. You know what I mean? And that's something.
That was a big, that was a good show right
that was something I didn't really see, because I went to school in an all-black community, like kindergarten to 12th grade. I don't know if you've experienced this, and it's really sad, but it's like, there was almost this fear that if you came off as too smart, you were being white. You were white. And it really upsets me now, because we were basically like sort of ingrained to believe that if you were intelligent or you liked learning, then it was you're being white. But if you act as though you haven't had an education, or you act as though you don't like school, or then that's black. That's that's, and then it was ironic, because we thought that was what Black Power was, having no knowledge, being ignorant and having no knowledge whatsoever meant that was Black Power. While we're learning about legends like Andrew Young.
I kind of noticed that when I moved down here, like to Atlanta, because I grew up in a like. The places I went to like school at, high school at, was like small, like white country town, so it was predominantly white. So there wasn't no, you gotta do this to be black. Now you black, they gonna look at you when them police pull you over. And you black.
You already know. There's no doubt about
it. They don't give a damn if you a nerdy anime nigga, a skateboard nigga.
Exactly.
So it wasn't. I never had to like really deal with that too much, and then
that's the way it should be, man.
And I guess growing up around there, it was like I'm not gonna let I'm not gonna let any of these people tell me they're smarter than me. Just
absolutely.
This or that. So, but I do notice in comedy, like I notice how like Atlanta comedians, like some Atlanta comedians that grew up, like you said, all black neighborhoods and stuff, they be like super uncomfortable in all white rooms.
Yeah.
And then some people who grew up and like where I grew up, they might be super uncomfortable in all black rooms. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
I never understood that part, because as a black comedian, it's like you have a black family, you grew up around black people, you know, you made black people laugh. I feel like you kind of got the best of both worlds whenever you grow up around white people, because I learned like it's really not a lot, like there is racism, but a lot of it is just ignorance. They just stupid. They ain't trying to, they want to be cool around you, so when they get around you, they start talking about rap music or basketball and just start pandering or whatever. They just ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
There was a reel I saw from a stand-up where he was like, how white, like these white frat boys like in Juicy J, when they see them, like, hey man, how's Carlotta doing? How's the baby? And then as soon as they're like, hey, what's up, blood?
Yeah, you know, automatically
what's up, my G? Yeah,
because white people, they just don't want to be seen as too white when they're around black people. That's all it is. That's all they're trying to do.
And shit,
they just don't want to be plain Jane potato chip. You know, that's all it is.
But I want to say though, I find your experience so interesting, because I think growing up in an all black community has its pros and cons. I think the pros were the fact that I never thought of myself as less than. I always had, like, I was talking to one of my friends and they were talking about how much it meant for them to see like Raven on TV and shit like that. And I hope this doesn't sound ignorant. For me, it was that, because I saw so many Raven Simones as it was, as far as like her skin complexion, her body shape, just going to school, just going to Publix. So I was excited as fuck to see the white kid. I'm like, bring on the blonde. I thought they were like, and I'm also, I thought they were like AI generated. I didn't even think they were real fucking people. Because there only, I kid you not, three white kids who went to my like elementary school my entire first, second grade year. You know what I mean? They were the DEIs out of everything. And it's funny, for better or worse, I didn't even realize that black people were not the majority.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like,
Because
that's just
everywhere I went, I saw my own.
differences.
I would go
Yeah.
weeks without seeing any white people,
Yeah.
man. And
That's
you tell
crazy to
people
me,
that
bro.
it's insane.
That's
Yeah.
like just like how that's crazy to me.
So I mean, it was a blessing because I never had any issues thinking myself as less. I think for us it was more so income and class. Like you get insecure if somebody lived in a nicer neighborhood or you felt folks were able to take better shit like that. But as far as like thinking I wasn't as attractive or I wasn't as intelligent or I wouldn't have good opportunities in the future because I was black, thank God it never. I don't mean to get too deep, but one of the girls I used to date, she had an experience. She grew up in South Georgia and it was still very segregated. She was in a situation where it's like the black girls didn't like her because they thought her interests were too white. So the white girls embraced her, but the white girls still didn't see her as an equal. So her best friend in kindergarten looked her in the eyes and said, I wish I could turn you white so you could be beautiful like me.
Damn.
And, yeah, bro, she could joke about what she was telling me, but still I could tell like that was something, that was a seed engraved in her
Yeah,
at
that
such a
fucks you
young
up,
age
bruh.
that really, so I thank God I never had to experience anything like that. I think the cons is that sometimes I think I didn't really have this issue because I have natural crackhead energy, natural, for better or worse, enthusiasm. So I went to Georgia State and saw like all these blonde haired people, all this. I was like, I need to know everything about you. I remember my roommate in Orlando. I went down there for an internship. He had come out the shower and I turned my head too quick. I saw that his ass he's gonna fucking kill me for this. I saw his ass was pale. And I remember as soon as he got dressed, I just for 5 minutes asked him questions about like, how come your feet look different than your ass? How long do you tan? Like, so I didn't have a problem integrating in. But I know some other folks, they'll automatically just demonize like people of different skin colors without getting a chance to know them. I think a lot of that maybe comes from the fear that they're not going to fit in, or maybe coming from the fear that if they put themselves out there, they're going to be discriminated against, or they're going to have to deal with all of this fucking microaggressive shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I
terrible.
ended up having to deal with later in life, and I couldn't
we all
imagine
gotta
being
deal
a
with them.
younger man having to do, like as a child, having to deal with that shit. At least now I have better tools to sort of know how to advocate for myself or know when to walk away. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine being 6 or 7. Fuck it. 7 or 8.
You did it. You
God
said
damn
it.
it.
You said
Fuck,
it.
and fuck you. No, fuck you younger kids, because
said
you
it.
got this shit. Fuck y'all.
You
Why
said
fuck we
it.
need to protect y'all
You said
motherfuckers?
the
I said it
6-7.
because y'all fucking Gen C, y'all, whatever the fuck y'all alpha niggas and shit.
Generation Alpha,
Got me
whatever.
brainwashed. Ain't no better cuck niggas. But yeah.
As far as your like with screenwriting, man, what are some goals you want to accomplish with that? You trying to do like because I honestly, for some reason I like TV more than I like movies.
It's the
so
same
you
thing with
wanna
me,
do a
man.
movie or you want to do a show?
No, it's the same thing with me. Definitely television, just because I feel like there's so many different
Why do you
opportunities to
think you like
expand.
TV more than movies?
Yeah, no, I think with television, just the opportunity to really expand the characters besides more than just the typical stereotype
and
or
a
plot.
half,
Yeah, because even though they're great movies, they all follow the same format
Formula.
just about.
Yeah.
With television, you can start off with a basic. I mean, How I Met Your Mother is one I've really
I like that show.
gotten back into.
That was one
Yeah.
of my favorites. That was a good sitcom.
And it's interesting because when I first saw it, I ripped it off because I was like, "Oh, Friends of New York." It's
it's Friends.
Yeah, but
because I never even watched Friends.
Right.
So that show I really fucked with it, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's just a rip off of Friends."
Yeah, and that's what I thought at first, but the more I paid attention to it, the more I realized that shot so unconventionally. There are like 70 different scenes in one episode. There's a lot more arc structure throughout the seasons. They have more callbacks
Got more
compared to
character
regular
arcs,
sitcoms.
more running jokes, more gags.
You genuinely see the progression with relationships, with maturity, and shit. It reminds me a lot of Scrubs.
and humor. You
yeah,
can see their humor just like progress over them.
so it's one of those things where you can take, you can start off a show where it is more so I guess a generic concept, like friends hanging out in the city, and then evolve it into something that's pretty, unique. Something I think with a show like that has never really been done before, as far as even the narration of like.
Have them narrate over.
Right. I mean, you would typically see it as like an adult talking about his childhood, right? That's been done with the Wonder Years and other
an
shows, but
adult
that was the
talking about
first
his
time.
adulthood.
Right, especially his 20s and 30s. And it's interesting too, seeing like the guy in the middle to where he's like being dragged between Marshall or Barney. Marshall, what you feel you're supposed to do when you get older, settle down, build a family, and Barney, this playboy who's taking full advantage of being able to fuck as many girls as he wants.
I never even thought about it like that.
Yeah, man.
Like he's got this friend, and
Yeah,
damn,
and that's the beauty about shows too, because the more you rewatch, the more you pick up on those little and there's and also too, film has definitely impacted me, but they're like one of the shows that's been on my mind recently is American Crime by John Ridley. He was
I don't know if I've watched that one.
He's an Oscar winner for 12 Years a Slave, and crazy enough, he started off as a stand-up comic.
Nice.
Yeah, he started off as a stand-up, got into the writer's room of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think he got to a point to where he realized, I mean, just like a lot of people do stand-up, realize, you know, as much as you love it, when you start expanding as far as like family, kids, the future, you also have to take into account what's going to be the most financially stable for you, you know? So I think with him, he realized performing just wasn't paying the bills. He ended up going over full-time to screenwriting, and that involved towards him going to films, 12 Years a Slave. And then back to you for American Crime. So American Crime, each season basically covers a different unconventional crime, and then how it affects those who are involved. So the second season, for example, focuses on an alleged sexual assault between two closeted gay males in a private school. And you go through like, okay, is the rape taken seriously because it's two males? Is one of the males, you know, not paid attention to because he comes from a lower class background compared to the other guy? A wealthy black family is dragged into it. At first, they don't really see color because of their financial status, but then when their son ends up being treated worse because of his skin color, you know what I mean? There are just so many different factors. One of the things I love about that show is that the characters aren't right or wrong. You may not agree with the decisions they make, but you completely understand.
Either way.
Exactly.
That's what I think. That's what it's all about. Like with your any type of form of movie or film, you got to make it the character's actions justified.
Absolutely, and that's why I love David Simon's work. He's the creator of The Wire and
Me and
Treme.
my sisters rewatching it right now. I tried to get into the Treme. I didn't really.
It's a slower show,
one, right?
but I think what I love the most about it is the fact that it truly. I love New Orleans in general, so I think it was mainly the culture.
I've never been, but it's like the one unique city in America.
I went in July, and everything, the films, the art makes it out to be is 10 times. It's one of the cities, I know it sounds corny as hell, it's one of those cities to where it does feel like a living, breathing human on its own. It's indescribable, bro. But
I've missed out on it twice, bro. I was supposed to go twice. There was
one third time the fucking charm.
Yeah, there was one paid trip. Like I had paid for it and everything, but I had like this little opportunity that like came up, so I took that instead. But yeah, so I'm like,
you gonna love it, bro.
Third time,
the charm. But Treme, I think the reason why it's interesting, I personally prefer Treme a little bit more than The Wire.
For real?
I think just because, well, you know, if The Wire is all based upon like the criminal justice system of Baltimore, to where with Treme, I feel the characters are a lot more diverse, so you have a lot more diverse storytelling. Like you have a white single mom who's a public defender, you see her shit. You have a wealthy white guy who's obsessed with like jazz. Exactly. So even though it does move slow, you're still able to dive into like 10 different worlds and perspectives compared to The Wire, which is amazing. Truly did change the face of television. Fucking love The Wire. But it's definitely sort of stuck within that circle of narrative, like right.
But that Wire, me and my sister, she hadn't watched it, so I started rewatching it with her. And she's about done now. I think it's on season 4 or 5.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's a great
season 4. We're on 5, something like that.
Yeah, and just the power to evoke emotion, which I mean we do in stand up all the time, but another show, and I go on. This is the last one I'm gonna mention. It's called China Beach. It's a period drama.
Seen that one.
Yeah, no, so it's sad. It's one of the underrated classics. Basically, And this is something else I learned in high school, and I think it really helped as far as how I viewed television and film. For the longest time, I just assumed if a show wasn't in syndication or it wasn't well known, it was trash.
It's garbage.
But then you realize, hot garbage. But then you realize, I mean, there's so many, like China Beach, for example, it got moved around. It was on for 4 seasons. It got moved around time slot wise, maybe about 12 times. And this last season, it was up against the Golden Girls during its prime. So it's like naturally you're not. Got to, you got to hold a candle to it.
Business.
Exactly.
You have a great show and it just not get marketed right or it don't fall in the right slots and done.
Frank's Place is another one. It was Tim Reed, who a lot of people know is Ray from Sister Sister. It was one of the first dramedies on television. It was about a Brown University professor taking over a New Orleans Creole restaurant from his deceased father, who he had been estranged with since he was like 2 years old. And it tackles colorism, it tackles New Orleans culture. They mentioned the brown paper bag test. They mentioned suicide and African American men and shit. This was all in the like late 80s. But once again, got moved around I think 8 times on the schedule and canceled after 22 episodes. Nobody ever ended up really giving it the love it deserves. But China Beach it gave the perspective on the women in Vietnam, particularly the nurses and the donut dollies. And it was one of the first shows where I got like emotional responses watching other shows, but it was the first one to where it really allowed me to have a strong sense of empathy for what those who went overseas, particularly Vietnam, experienced. And my dad's retired military, so I knew about like PTSD, I knew about alcoholism, but actually watching the series
where they break it down.
Yeah, man, I had never felt a level of empathy like that before for characters, but also too the actual situations of people who had been through shit like that. And it was just so incredible to me that television could evoke those type of emotions and allow those type of situations to have a platform, those stories to be told.
It's a real it's an entertainment game, man.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like people want to get in and make like their dope work and stuff like that, but then they really only like the stuff that gets noticed and commercialized and all that is like the lesser.
Yeah, man.
The less powerful stuff. Like you were just saying, Tim Reed, right? His
Frank's
probably
Place.
His biggest thing was what? The Sister, right?
Yeah, so
that's probably what most people know him from.
Our generation, Sister, and the older generation, he was on it, which I highly recommend y'all check out. It's funny. It's called WKRP in Cincinnati, which aired during the 70s.
And he used to have a stand-up routine he did with this guy.
Tom Dresden.
Yeah,
Tom was a guest star on WKRP one episode. Yeah. It was fucking hilarious, man. No, Tim, and it's funny too when you look at someone like Tim Reed, you just know him as Ray, and then the older you get, you look at this man's resume, and he also was a director for a great movie that feels very underrated, Once Upon a Time When We Were Colored. It stars Felicia Rashad, and I believe, he was in the Temptations movie. I can't think of it. Leon. Leon's in there too, yeah. It's crazy to think how multifaceted so many performers are, but you, for whatever reason, you only know them for that one piece of work.
What would you do with your like screenwriting? And you want to do a show? What type of show? You want to do a comedy? Like a hard comedy? Because I kind of want to do like a hard comedy. I feel like there's not that many of those anymore.
100%.
Or do you want to do like a dramedy?
It was interesting. So I have 3 pilots that I'm currently like going back and forth working on. So the first one is a dramedy. The second one is an all-out sitcom. And the third one is a drama. I wrote about 3 years ago, but I'm finally going back now and trying to rewrite. Yeah, so I guess for a log line for all 3, the multi-cam comedy is about like this Instagram famous romance expert, you know what I mean? Like everybody goes to him for love advice. He has the perfect relationship, blah, 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 blah. And he's in the middle of his wife of 6 years divorcing him, his public image spiraling out of control, and also too finding out that the accountant who he's been having a secret relationship with is pregnant. So we're seeing this man who has like such the perfect life slowly trying to put the pieces back together while maintaining his public image. The second one is a dramedy called Undeclared, and it follows. One thing that always pissed me off watching TV is the fact that, especially with black folks, there's always this narrative that just because you didn't go to college that you weren't educated or you didn't have. So with this, I wanted to showcase 5 friends in their 20s trade school, entrepreneurship, things of the teen parents, the main couple in the short, teen parents, showing that they're still able to have intelligence and they're still able to provide successful lives for themselves and the grind that comes with that.
You gotta pitch that one. That's a good one.
Thank you, man.
That'd probably go.
The first episode is actually about the teen couple finding out they're pregnant with the second child on the girl's 21st birthday, and her conflicting feelings as to, like, as much as I love my kids, would I have had
this again?
Right? It's like, would I have had a happier life or more quote unquote successful life if we didn't get pregnant with the first kid and I didn't forego college like I originally. So I mean, it's diving into that, defining what actually determines success, defining at what point do you have to sort of sacrifice like the optimism of your 20s to focus on the harsh realities of adulthood.
Yeah.
And the drama Take Me Away is an ensemble piece that centers around a mystery. 17-year-old athlete, one of the captains of the football team, highly regarded, 3.9 GPA. He ends up being found unconscious in his room, declared dead at the hospital. And the whole series is going to break down sort of the cast of characters as to who was responsible for the death, what particularly happened, sort of unraveling a bit of a double life he had, as well as focusing on the after effects of the family members, the friends, his ex who finds out that she's pregnant shortly after his death, and how they're all trying to come to terms emotionally and mentally with his loss.
Okay, so if you was to get let's say, who's a good one? Netflix is coming. You're gonna green light one of your joints. Which one? They're only doing one though. They're only green lighting one. Which one you want?
I feel like Take Me Away to drama. I would love to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, as much as it's interesting. As much as I love performing comedy personally,
Writing that shit's hard as hell.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Pilots, boy, that shit is tough.
You already know, man.
I had this one. Joe Byers. He does the Hot Breath podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love
he had
Joe.
somebody. I can't remember the comedian's name, but he was like. He feels like movies and TV shows, comedy, movie and TV shows suck now because when they write scenes, now they're just writing, which is what I do. I had to I'm trying to figure out how to not do this. He said people are just writing the characters saying funny things.
100%. There's no story.
But he said like when you look at like older movies and TV shows, each scene was a sketch. Like if you go back and watch like an Ace Ventura movie, every scene is like a sketch. Each scene is a sketch. I was like, oh, that's like a good way to think about it.
100%. That's what I love about Third Rock from the Sun and that '70s show.
Oh, yeah,
the creators of that those two shows, Bonnie and Terry Turner, started their careers as staff writers on SNL. Yeah. So it's like a conventional sitcom at the same time, like you said, each scene feels like its own sketch. Yeah. You know what I mean? And also, too...
what was the other show you said? You said 30 Rock and what?
Oh, Third Rock from the Sun and that '70s show.
That '70s show.
And also, shout out to 30 Rock. That was the first adult sitcom that I watched. And also one of the reasons why I want to continue on as a writer.
Damn, I'm trying to think of
exceptionally funny, bud.
Damn, what is it? 30 Rock. There's another comedy show I'm thinking of super funny.
Like old school or new school?
And it's more black.
Bernie Mac show, Blackish.
It's an amazing one too. 30 Rock, and then what is that other show where it seems like each scene is like a sketch damn near?
Malcolm in the Middle.
It'll come back to me somewhere.
Yeah. And also too, for any writers out there, I would highly recommend the old school MTM shows. So they were a production company from the '70s and '80s that produced some of the juggernauts like Taxi, Mary Tyler Moore, the Bob Newhart show.
Oh, yeah.
I think Cheers was under there, or the writers from Cheers started their careers there. And I like to say that if you want a middle ground to where you have fall out your seat funny with a strong story and emotional development of the characters, and of course, Norman Lear too. Those two joints are definitely the way to go. Man. You have such great storytelling first and foremost, and through the storytelling and the three-dimension creations of the characters, you're able to naturally embed the humor in. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Did you ever watch Barry?
I fucking love Barry. Yeah,
that's that shit. That's like the best dramedy to me, where it's blending drama and comedy. That show is
Barry
crazy.
and the Bear are two of my favorites recently.
Damn, here go our first disagreement.
You ain't fuck with the Bear.
Here's how I feel about the Bear, right?
Yeah.
The Bear is either a really good drama, or it's a shit comedy.
Oh no, we agree with that 100. I always put it in drama.
They won like an Emmy or they got nominated for comedy series. I was like, whoa, when was this a comedy series?
Yeah,
bro?
no, and I will
shit ain't got one joke in it.
100%. I'll say certain episodes, like I think the episode they were won. outstanding director for comedy series review. Like episode like that, I would consider a comedy because there were a lot of funny elements mixed in.
Yeah,
However,
you can have a drama that's
you know
that's
what I mean?
funny. There's been Sopranos episodes that were funny as hell.
It got nominated.
Still a drama, bro.
Moonlighting. I don't know if you've seen that before.
The movie Moonlight.
It's called Moon. So
Oh, no,
Moonlight.
you're talking
Also,
about-
shout out for Moonlight. That's a great fucking movie.
I
by the way.
was talking about the movie. I don't think I've seen
Yeah,
the show.
so Moonlighting, it came on in the 80s, but it was what you described. It was an hour series that got mixed into drama, but it had majority comedic elements. And it was Bruce Willis's very first breakout role. He won a Golden Globe and an Emmy for his portrayal on there. And it was that show that led him to be cast in Die Hard and, launch his film career.
I think it's because, like, I always get mad at, I guess you could say Hollywood,
Yeah.
or whoever makes TV shows, but
The powers
they
that
always,
be.
Yeah, the powers that be. They always want to make a comedy, so they get a bunch of actors,
Right.
who are like drama, trained
Exactly,
actors. And let's
yeah.
put them in a funny situation. It's gonna be funny.
Right.
It's not. It never is. Like get
Yeah.
the comedians and put them in just regular dramatic situations. It's gonna
Exactly.
be funny as hell.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like with dramatic actors, they definitely have like the formal training, which will come in good for like if you go back to like On the Family, for example, there was an episode where Edith almost gets raped, shit like that. I mean, I feel like that's when that drama training does kick in well, just knowing how to balance the humor as well as the seriousness of that situation. But also too, if you're hiring a dramatic actor where their acting is good, but they have no comedic rhythm, or they have
lot
no
of them
natural
don't.
timing, or they don't know how to necessarily work with the writers to rewrite something to be better quality or funnier, it's gonna show, and it's not gonna be the same level of
That's why there's
entertainment,
no comedy shows or movies of the last like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, man.
That
It's,
like stand out.
absolutely, because like you said, it's all about just trying too hard to be funny that they don't actually end up delivering anything, if not funny, memorable. You
And
know
it's
what I
PC,
mean?
yeah. It's
Exactly.
They can't make they're trying to make all these like clean comedy like movies, and it's like
Yeah,
you're not
and
really
it's
gonna.
It's stupid
You can't
as
make
hell,
a
man.
big budget clean comedy movie. That shit gonna
Yeah.
be garbage. You might as, if that's the case, then just make a kids movie.
That's
'cause
what I'm
it's-
saying. And at the end of the day, like a raunchier comedy, it doesn't have to be like fuck shit bitch cunt every 3
Yeah,
seconds or
bro,
so.
like-
But don't be afraid to go. The reason, and we could go on and on about how a lot of shit from 20 years ago, 30 years ago is problematic now through
Nah,
new
yeah,
eyes.
obviously you can't,
But still though, what made those movies great to me was the fact that they were willing to at least take a chance. There was a desire to want to experiment and just throw shit at the
You watch
wall. You know
Blazing
what I mean?
Saddles?
Everyone keeps telling me I need to watch
Bruh,
Blazing
I ain't
Saddles,
gonna
bro.
lie, bro. I feel
I've
like
seen
we're
a
some of the
couple of
darkest
scenes,
comedians on the
like,
scene. That's a movie we gotta watch, and not in terms of skin
Get
complexion.
going.
I mean,
Dog. I
comedic
wish
material.
sometimes we could be judged on the darkness of our skin and not the bleakness of our jokes, if only.
But bruh,
Yeah.
I watched that movie for the first time this year. It's one of the first like comedy movies, right? Hardcore comedy movies, and it's like came out in like '74.
Yeah.
Bruh, you gotta watch it.
They
It's on
say
HBO
it's one of
Max.
the best
Bruh.
movies of all time, comedy movies of all time. No, I
That
need
motherfucker,
to.
like from the opening, like you know what type of movie it's gonna be. The first like 30 seconds of dialogue. I was like,
we
oh.
going to this type of shit.
Oh yeah, like it makes you
Bro.
snap back. Okay, this is the '70s.
I
I gotta
need
remember,
to.
but yeah,
And look at how many people. It's funny, the same people who clutch their pearls over everything now are the exact same ones. So
Who were
look at a
laughing
movie
at-
like that with rose-colored
Bruh,
glasses.
they was laughing their asses off.
They're laughing at it. They have no, and that's the sad thing. I feel like we have no real amount of self-awareness anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I also want to say, like, slightly I've talked about, I think it's hilarious that you meet dark humor comedians, they end up being the nicest people on stage. And then you'll meet motherfuckers who have this persona where their smiling is so, oh, gee, blah, 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 on stage.
motherfuckers
And
a
they're the
slime ball piece
coldest.
of shit,
They are
grimy
the
motherfuckers.
coldest motherfuckers. I'm probably going to get in trouble for that, even though Malcolm X did too, for speaking the truth. But
Grimy motherfuckers.
Black history, so I feel like I can get away with that without having, I mean, I was gonna say my reparations taken
I like
away, but I
doing
would
that
have to have
dark humor,
reparations to
man.
begin with, man.
I like doing that dark humor because I know,
Yeah.
like, I know you want to laugh at this.
You
I be
know
seeing it
you
at my
wanna fucking-
shows.
yeah.
I see it in my shows.
Hell
Where somebody will
fucking yeah,
laughing
man.
or looking around. Like,
And that's the best fucking
Nah,
feeling
let that
because
go,
you're
bruh. Let
giving them
that out, bruh.
permission. You're giving them permission to also to look around at, like, let's say it's someone who looks like us in the crowd. We're trying to laugh. They look at the fucking conservative 60-year-old in the corner. They're looking at the fucking soccer mom. It allows you the opportunity to truly see that everybody is more alike than we are different.
That's when I realized dark, like the
Yeah.
lighting plays a real good part in comedy. Because if
Absolutely.
it's dark, people like all people are doing is if the audience can see each other,
Yeah.
they're just gonna. That's when they're like more tight and not laughing.
Absolutely.
Because they're just looking to see if this person, like most of the time, the white people are gonna look at the black people when it's a black joke, like, oh, can I laugh at this? And then it's weird. But when it's dark and no one can see, that's when everybody just laughing like, oh, fuck it. Anybody gonna see me laughing at this joke?
And I feel like I was telling one of my boys this yesterday. Is for me personally, it's not about when I think of a successful set, it's not about getting the most laughs. Sometimes it's just allowing them to feel something off of your jokes to evoke some, just like a piece of art and drama, right? Just being able to evoke some strong type of emotion.
Yeah.
Even if they're not laughing at one of my dark jokes, the fact that they're listening, they're not on their phones, they still have some type of reaction, whether they're shocked, whether they're trying to process, whether it may not be in their cup of tea. I'd much rather have that than to have
groan,
or someone just like be on their phone, and then go right back
to
in,
it,
you know? And I think too, I don't know if you feel the same way, just being able as a black man to do something that's distinctive. Because one of the reasons I really went into dark comedy is that when I first started doing this consistently, and I want to say first off, it's no disrespect to the comedians I saw. I went to a comedy show and it was like 4 black comics in a row. They all looked the same. They all dressed the same. They all had the same cadence. They all talked about their uncles being in jail for crack for like 30 years and having 10 baby mamas and all this other shit. And one thing, for better or worse, that I know is that the white crowds ate that, especially the more conservative looking ones, for lack of a better word, laughed their asses off. So then it's one of those things, are you laughing because you think it's funny, or are you laughing because it's already perpetuating some of the stereotypes you have for us?
I knew it was true.
Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. And then
I make sure to do one. If I do one that the black people grown at, I make sure I do one that the white
people go grown at
yeah.
too. Yeah, man. So it's one of those things where it's like, I have nothing. I love race jokes and shit like that, but at the same time, I think seeing that at such an early part coming into it made me mindful of, like, sometimes people will just, because I don't know about you, but I've even had people who try and come up to me afterwards and say just the most crazy shit and make me their David Lucas, try and make me their David Lucas and everything. And it's like, I gotta let them know, I'll admit it's a funny joke, but you are never gonna hear me say anything along the lines of, I don't believe that diversity is needed. I don't believe that y'all should be able to say nigga on stage and demean us. And it just, oh man, we could go. So I've talking to so many other black comics too, to where it's like, and I'm gonna try to word this in the most respectful way possible. It's like, and rightfully so, right? People will speak out if a comic says anything demeaning when it comes to LGBTQ, when it comes to women, even at this point when it comes to, like, you know, Jewish people, immigration. But with black people, it's like they can say the most demeaning, as long as they don't actually say nigga, they can say the most deplorable, demeaning shit about us.
Ari Matty says it on stage.
Are you serious?
Yes, Ari Matty, y'all's big comedian, kill ton. Yeah, he says the N-word on stage.
And I'm sure David Lucas is sitting there with his bucket of popcorn laughing. So as soon as he gets called, I see one of them like that dark y'all. But yeah, man, and it's sad. It's okay, they can actually say nigga, and the same people who are calling out all the other groups that are being fucking. I
think Timmy No Breaks has an N-word bit too.
Oh shit, that makes
Timmy No Breaks pulled a whole black puppet out on
I
stage.
would not be surprised actually.
That shit is insane.
But it's like, the same people who are calling out when they're riffing on any other group, they're the ones who are silent. Or better yet, I've seen some where it's like they're trying to get the attention or get on the Booker's good side or someone's good side, so they'll laugh along with the rest of them. Yeah. It's like anytime it's something related to black people being humiliated or demeaned, and we try to stand up and advocate for ourselves, it's like we're too sensitive, or it's just comedy. Right. You know what I mean? And
I just had this feeling that most unfunny white comedians, like, main material is black people.
Oh, 100%.
Anytime you see anything just garbage, and they get up, they first thing they start saying something about this about black people, this about black people. It's like, bro, it's
fucking ridiculous. And then garbage. What blows me the most, and this goes back to, like, do the right thing. I resonate in the sense that it's like, you'll hype up all of these black comedians or these black entertainers. These will be your idols. But then when it comes to a regular black person, a regular black man, you'll go above me on to make us feel as though we're underneath the surface of you just because of our skin color. But any other black person who you consider to be in high regards, you'll post on a pedestal. Yeah. Anybody who's not shoe in the basket, anyone whose jersey you don't have, anybody whose rap album you're not listening to, we're just niggas.
Bars.
You know, It's crazy, though.
Bars.
But no, I mean to get ironic. I mean to get too dark into
Nah,
that.
man, I knew this is two of the darker
but it's like
comedians on the
that's
scene.
something that. But
This
that
what
is
it was
what it
for.
is. But that is something I noticed, man. And but going back to my first time with those 4 comics, I did want to say one of the reasons too why I wanted to do darker humor is because after watching those 4 comics, I went back to the car. One of my boys, we were talking about the show, and I realized I remembered specific jokes, but I couldn't remember which one of those 4 comics said which joke. Yeah. So I realized if I wanted to do it, I would have to find a way to have my set undeniable to where if I said something, people would know, okay, that's Kenny Murray's joke, or Kenny made me think of this, or do you know what I mean?
It's distinctive.
100%.
You can't bite something. Because for one, you got to be comfortable. If I do this joke and you try to steal it, it's like, you got to be comfortable enough to do
say
it. This
that's
is a fucked up joke, so you got to be comfortable enough to say it anyway.
I love you said that
you know
shit because the first time I tried to do more quote-unquote conventional material, a woman came up to me and said that I tried to steal her fucking joke. And I'm like, no, with dark humor, people are ashamed to even listen to it sometimes, so you don't have to worry about anybody. Like with you and me,
stealing that shit,
exactly. Bro. And that's
I got an AI joke. I know ain't nobody gonna take it.
Exactly. And it's like it's like your style, like not just your jokes, but also your cadence. It's so distinctive that I can just hear one of your jokes and know that you wrote it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And sometimes, even if people are getting like 5-minute stand ovations and shit like that, they don't necessarily have that same type of authenticity or distinctiveness to their humor.
That's
what
I'm really starting to get into is I want my joke, like, you want your set, instead of being like the funny, you know, people always want, I want the funniest, I want to be the best, like, just be the most different. Like,
exactly.
Just be the most different and authentic on the lineup, I feel like.
And there's something that I heard from an acting workshop I did that stuck with me, to where the instructor said it's not failure, it's discovery. So even if you bomb, even if a set may not go the way you want, don't think of it as this is terrible. It's learning. You're learning how to deliver a joke better. You're learning how to work on your pace, and you're learning as to whether or not you may need to replace this joke before this joke or whatever. You're truly, every time you go on stage, you're discovering some type of way you can improve, or something that's hilarious that adds onto it that you didn't even know could be there, right?
Throw in a little extra tag.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why I don't really, like, I love comics, right? Yeah. Like, I fuck hard with you, I fuck hard with Abdul, my boy Alexander Flores, Palomino.
We got to rephrase
No Diddy.
That. We got to rephrase that. You got to say, I fuck with you heavy.
I fuck with you heavy.
I think you said, I fuck hard with
you.
You said, yeah.
Unloop. This ain't no Diddy shit, goddamn.
Wait a minute.
Holy fuck.
Okay. You gotta clean that one up.
Clean that shit
up.
I
fucks with you and I do a heavy.
I fucks with you heavy, my boy.
There we go.
But yeah, there especially like a fellow young black comics and everything like that. There are a lot of comics I fuck with, but I still fuck heavy with. But I still don't feel like I've ever really been a comic just because the mindset I have is not failure, it's discovery. I'm the type of nigga to where it's like, if I bomb, I'll like do a quick sort of run down in my head, okay, I need to work on this, I need to better this, okay, good, I know next time. I'm someone, every time I get off the stage, I try not to, whether I bomb or whether I kill, I try not to think too much of it. Because you don't want to go on adrenaline high and shit like that, and then you wake up, you still got to go to work. You know what I mean? So,
I'm trying to tap into that more lately.
Yeah.
It's not about
all with time, man, you know?
Other people's. For me, it was more about comedians because I was new to the scene, so I want to show all these comedians like I can do this and this. Yeah. Now I'm more just like, bro, it's about like my shit, my journey.
Your journey, exactly.
So whenever I go on stage now, it's like, man, I'm working on this new stuff that I'm doing. I don't give a fuck about killing or doing this or that. Like, I'm gonna work out this new stuff right here.
And at the end of the day, too, I hate to say it, but there are gonna be, like, I feel comfortable saying this, there are 2 comics in particular I can think of to where it's like every time I've killed in front of like a regular, whether it be an open mic or a book show, where I kill in front of a group of people who've never heard my shit before, they'll walk out and they'll be upset because in their head, dark humor isn't funny.
Fuck them up against the wall.
Right in the ass, god damn it. All the way up in the Midtown district too. But it's one of those things to where it's like you can be undeniable and people responding well to your shit, but if people have in their heads that you're not funny or you don't deserve certain opportunities,
they only laughing because
exactly,
this.
man.
I was watching
so sometimes
documentary,
it's inevitable, you know.
From Key and Peele, Keegan Michael Key, the ball.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm actually doing a workshop with one of their writers about 2 weeks.
Yeah, man, congrats. congrats on that.
Thank you, bro.
But he said, like, in the documentary, he was like, people always like to say, like, oh, this ain't funny, or this or this or this. Here's the test. If you see or watch or listen or hear something and you go, boom, that's it. It's funny.
Exactly.
It ain't nothing else. Oh, well, no, I only laugh because of this. Or that's like corny funny. Or that's cheesy funny. No, it's funny. You laughed. Like, that's it. It's over. There's no, that's it. You did. Even if it's just that, you laughed. It's over. It's funny.
And my thing
Period.
is, like, sometimes I feel like other comedians will try to determine themselves what they think the audience wants to see instead of allowing the audience to determine. Yeah, like, even with a lot of book shows, personally, as an audience member, I'll go in and I'll think, like, yes, there's diversity as far as skin color or gender or age or whatever, but it's still a variation of the same 5 people that's saying the same type of things, the same conventional type of jokes, telling the same type of stories. So it's like, as an audience member, I get restless in there for 2 hours. Yes, the person looks different. Yes, the gender is different, but it's still a variation of the same words.
Same shit.
That's why I love even comics where it's like I may not necessarily vibe or relate to their humor. I still appreciate them, and I feel they're needed because it allows me to see something different. And even if I may not think it's the funniest thing in the world, just off my own, like, personal instincts, I can still appreciate and respect the hell out of them for consistently taking creative risk and having the balls to try something different. Because that's all I want to. That's why I love watching newer comics, honestly, because they're not in their head about what they think bookers want to see, what they think the audience.
That shit.
Exactly, they're just throwing shit same.
After first year of stand-up, you just doing. I don't know if this works or not. Fuck it, let's see.
Exactly, that's what art is supposed to be. And I was telling one of my friends not too long ago the reason, because I took a bit of a month-long break or so from doing mics and just regrouping. I think for me the main thing was just like once I sort of became enthralled to the business side of shit, it really took a lot of the joy away from it for me personally.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know what that's like.
Yeah, no, it's sad because it's like, you know,
business of it that should wear you down.
Draining, yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like, when you're an actor, I feel like maybe there's a separation because it's like, you know, you have the casting directors, you have producers, people who aren't necessarily considered your peers, who are making the decisions as to whether you get on projects. But then with stand-up, you're in a situation to where your peers are the ones who hold the opportunities. And then it's like, I was in a situation, for example, and I feel like a bitch to this day not really standing up for myself. It happened last year, and for lack of better words, there was a comic who, for whatever reason, maybe it's my dark humor, they've never been fond of me, had some disrespectful words, like some slick shit to say to me, and the only reason why I didn't say anything back the way I wanted is because I was thinking, okay, this person's the friend of this person who books on the show I want to go. And I feel like such a bitch not saying shit in the moment. That's one of the main things to this fucking day. And I'm at to a point now where it's like, fuck that shit, because only God determines my opportunities, right? But it's crazy when you have that in your head to where it's just like, okay, this person associated with this person, I need to get on this show. And then the sad thing is feeling like you need these opportunities when in actuality, I just personally, I forget that God is in control of my destiny. What's not for me, if one door doesn't open, whether it be here, California, Chicago, New York, whatever, he's gonna make sure something is there for me.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? I think a lot of comics in Atlanta, they become so locked into the fact that we're in Atlanta without realizing that LA, Vegas, there's so many other opportunities out there,
man. There's a
and
bunch
the people,
of other clubs, there's a bunch of other shows,
and don't allow these
states, cities, towns.
Yeah, have faith in God and don't allow these people to be their Jesus. There are certain people.
Be bigger than one city.
Yeah.
Be bigger than one club. Be bigger than one, like, don't ever think like that.
And that's why I don't really like bond a lot with comics, because I'll go to a mic or whatever, and afterwards it's like, I just want to talk about life. I just want to talk about more, I guess, darker philosophical shit or whatever. Like, I'm curious to see what people's experience are. Mushrooms, for example.
I like the dark stuff because it's like, if you think this is fun, like, we're all the same. People are all the same. So if you think this is funny, there's somebody out there who thinks this is funny. Yeah. And then two, it's like we all live rough lives. Like, it's some dark. We all laugh at some dark stuff. Everybody's been to a funeral and been laughing at some point.
Exactly, man. And there, I mean, even like, for example, my friends at the gym I go to, like, we'll have full 15-minute conversations where we'll literally go back and forth between, like, talking about what we want our future to be like for our kids, and then like goddamn, you can see that bitch's ass all through them. Yo,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you're
a nice balance.
A nice balance.
That's why
You're
I
just
think
having
the
a good
multicam
fun.
sitcoms
Yeah,
don't really.
100%.
I think they don't have that many multicam sitcoms anymore because they've tried that cookie cutter cheesy family image.
And
too
it doesn't
much.
work.
It doesn't work anymore because of
Yeah.
social media. We've all seen each other, like how we all act in our house with each other,
100%,
and we
man.
know we're not that clean. We're not that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna walk into a household in America today and not hear a cuss word. Like that's
Exactly.
just not it. That's just not
And
the
shout
world
out
we live
to the
in.
Miss Pat show.
Miss Pat show
I'm a
and the
dumbass. I
Upshaws,
got to
bruh.
interview her, and that was a great fucking experience.
I went and watched them film the
Bro,
show.
It's all their
fire.
taping days. I had to turn down a extra gig on A Different World because all the shit always takes place right between like my office, like 9 to 5. Yeah, bro. But
Miss Pat
Miss
show
Pat is a
and
goat, bro.
Upshaws.
Yeah.
The Upshaws and Miss Pat show.
I
feel
was
like
watching-
Those are the only two multicam sitcoms
Yeah, man.
still doing it. But
I'm
Earthquake
such a
is about to
fan
get
of
one.
Mike
You know
Epps.
Earthquake?
I had no idea Earthquake's.
Earthquake's
I'm
getting
gonna
one.
have to be on the lookout for that shit, man.
It's gonna be
And
fire.
also too, it's not
Bill
as
Burr producing it too.
let's fucking go,
It's gonna be
bro.
fire. Somebody's fucking with my lights. in
Let's
here.
fucking
Who fucking
go.
with my lights?
It's the Confederate soldiers underneath the ground. They don't like this type of black empowerment and shit. They're gonna try and like a god different Netflix horror movie shit. But also too, not a sitcom per se, but Country Wayne. I also got a chance to interview him.
Hell
and
yeah.
one of the
Shout out
things
Country
that
Wayne.
one of the things that he said that spoke out to me on top of just the importance of building your own brand is the fact that with his storytelling, the humor comes naturally to where like his YouTube series, for example, is more drama based at times, but you are able to see the natural everyday comedy slice of life that comes with getting to learn these characters, their dilemmas, their situations, and yeah, I think he's just one of the most talented comedians, entertainers out right now. I have so much, and also too just hearing Country Wayne, hearing
Especially
more
what he was able
about
to do off Facebook. and all. Come on, man.
100% him building his
Clean.
own brand. Yeah.
Clean skits.
100%, bro, and the improvisation that goes in with it too, it's insane, man. But I 100% agree with you. I pray that we get that type of storytelling back, and it's interesting, bro. Sometimes I struggle where it's just like, okay, at the gym, like I was saying, like I can go back and forth between like riffing about girls to talking about philosophy to talking about like politics with these dudes. But then when I go to open mics or I try to have these same conversations, it all reverts back to how come I'm not getting booked here? This person doesn't deserve this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. It's just like 40 minutes of middle school shit. I'm like
Yeah.
26-year-old.
Stay
I
out of
don't
that
have
shit, bro. I
time.
don't wanna hear all that shit.
If I want to be in an environment this long, I want to have something that's going to be uplifting and optimistic and something it's not always going to be positive. That's just adulthood. But I
think that's where like
I'm
where we
too
see
old for that shit, man.
Where we see that like we was talking about how like it's the same set, same
Right,
same
right.
stuff. I think it's because of that like as comedians getting too into comedy. Like
yeah.
you hitting every mic every night and you're always out
Yeah.
back hanging out with comedians. Everybody's talking shit about everybody, and so you're getting too into it and you're not stepping back. Like it might be sometimes I ain't go to a mic for 3 days, but it's like I
Right.
might have went out to eat with my girl, probably went and did
100%.
something like. Maybe just went and watched a movie or went walking or just like
It's
you gotta go
important.
live and get up out of that. Otherwise, you're not gonna have no material.
And that's
if you're
what-
on stage every night, you're not making any material. You're not creating anything.
That's something I had to learn the hard way. So I'm in a situation now where, for lack of better words, I'm a bit of a temporary breadwinner for some of the folks in my family who have been going through difficult times.
Yeah, man.
So I'm working my full time. I'm also working a part time. I'm on like my 15th day off without a break. I think 15, 16 or whatever.
But through
So
that
it's
is
been-
material.
Yeah, through
what I'm
that,
saying?
it's material, and also too, I'm not gonna lie, as difficult as it's been, it's also this reality that as much as I love stand up, it's definitely not the end all be all. Like
Exactly.
when you're faced with situations as to where you're worried about someone's healthcare plans, for lack of a better words, you're worried about being able to make sure that this is paid off, that you're able to still maintain your mental health, you're going to the gym 5 times a day, and these more, I guess, situations where your life and your decisions doesn't just affect you, it affects your loved ones.
Yeah, man.
It places a whole nother level on it to where you're like, okay, if I bomb, I'm still gonna be able to come back and do this shit again tomorrow somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
I think out of all of that, that's the biggest lesson it taught me. And also too, my mom said this when I was a child, it's okay to love your passion, but don't let your passion be the only thing you love.
Right.
And I see so many stand-ups who have been doing this for a good amount of time and very talented, but it's like their entire self-worth or value or emotion or mood
revolves around stand-up
yeah. And it depends, like, they're only happy if they do well on a set. They're only happy if they get booked here and there. They allow their entire personality to be based around
based on stand-up.
getting validation from their peers or bookers and shit. It's just a very unhealthy way to live your life. You
I
don't
just got into, like, I feel like this past couple, this year for
Yeah.
sure, where I've like, yeah, man, fuck this shit, bro. I don't give a
Yeah,
fuck.
bro. And knowing at the end of
Fuck
the
these niggas.
Fuck these niggas. And knowing at the end of the day, knowing at the end of the day too, like, people will, you could be the nicest person in the world. You can try
Still
going above and beyond, and people are going to think what they want to think about you. And I'm proud of myself because I'm finally starting to get out the habit of realizing, like, okay, I hate saying it, but some of these motherfuckers, like, I don't even like you as a person. Why would I want to collaborate with you? Why do you're not somebody I would want to be in my life outside of this. And
do not matter to me.
Yeah, and it's, there was a situation a couple of weeks ago where it was like, I was already having a rough day. I ended up going to a spot. The person who was in charge of it or whatever, I was the third person to sign up on this. And they went through, I kid you not, everybody except me. They never spoke to me. When I went up and asked them if I was gonna go up, they just dismissively, oh, looks like you're not gonna, yeah, no, we ain't got much time and shit. And my face, of course, said it all. We sort of end up me and bucking each other, all that shit like that. But I had for 3 seconds this weird feeling like, why did I do that? And like, I did something wrong, and I'm just like, no, fuck, I don't care if I get booked on this. I don't care what this person thinks of me. They know that they treated me with disrespect, and that wasn't the first time they've done something like that to me, and I'm tired of feeling as though I shouldn't speak up, and especially, too, I mean, for young, I mean, we're like fucking babies, but let's say there's a 19-year-old black dude coming in. If I maintain the idea that I should just keep my fucking mouth shut and allow any type of treatment, what am I teaching him?
True.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I'm at a point now, I'm just not going to allow myself to be disrespected or treated as though I should be humbled, right?
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it's you
and
don't
then,
control my destiny, and I'm sick of thinking that I have to appease to your standard of what a comedian should be.
My homie PD from Asheville, he told me this, and I didn't understand it, and honestly, until this year. It was like my first year in stand-up, but I didn't understand it until now, and he's like, everybody's on the same level.
Yeah.
And at first, I was like, nah, like, there's some people, that motherfucker ain't funny at all. This motherfucker's super funny. That person's middle funny. Like, what are you talking? Bruh, who on the scene is selling out comedy clubs?
Yeah.
Nobody.
And that,
nobody.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the beauty.
All on the same level.
But that's the beauty of it too, because it should truly be a bonding experience in that we're all working towards trying to rise together instead of going back to competition, trying to shoot each other down. At the end of the day, if we just realize that if we make Atlanta the best it can be overall, which involves us partnering, we're all gonna eat. Look at Nick Murphy, Mandel, the great opportunities and well-deserved opportunities they have. If we continue to ride off of that and show that Atlanta has such phenomenal people who deserve to be in those same rooms, the opportunities for all of us are just going to grow and grow and grow. And I don't think, like, humbly speaking, I don't think a lot of people fully realize that. You know, that we're so much better together than we are separated and apart. And it's like one thing that I'm trying to work better on, and one thing that I actually loved about doing improv was the fact that it allowed me to work and collaborate with people who I would have never.
You be doing improv?
Yeah, not recently, but I did a couple of courses. So I did 2 Das Garage courses in college, and most recently last year I did a 10-week course at Dynamic El Dorado.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I've done a couple of jams. It's hard to balance both because a lot of the jams around the same time as Mike's. So last time I did improv jams, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. It's a great time. And one of the things I loved about that was the fact that it really does force you, I shouldn't say force, but it allows you to work with people who you would never necessarily think that you would have great time with. I worked with, let's say, a good example, when I was in my class, I worked with a dude who was more so like clean cut, like office job, whatever. Someone who, like, if he was in the stand-up world, we would have never thought about like doing skits together or really talking. And we ended up having the best comedic time and worked off each other incredibly well. You know what I mean? And it's through that you're able to build more opportunities and you're able to really form that camaraderie compared
yeah,
to stand-up where I feel like it's so, and I'm guilty of this too, right? You get comfortable just finding people who you feel may fit inside your creative box to where you don't necessarily allow yourself the chance to really.
For me, like, it don't even be
get to know
creatively.
folks.
It'll just be like who you like personally.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what people like to do a lot of the times.
Yeah.
That's honestly not the best way to go about it, bro. Because just because you like. Just because you like somebody personally, don't mean like professionally you're gonna like them or want to work with them.
Exactly, and I think one of the things too, where it's like you can like someone personally, but don't
Respect them.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you respect them.
Make
first.
sure you respect them. Yeah, and that's the difficult thing for me. For some people in comedy, it's like I admire their talent. I think they're very creative, but the way that they
zero
treat
respect for you as a
zero
human
respect, the
being.
way that they treat other people, the
Yeah.
way that they speak about others, the
That
way that they carry, especially like
You
just
know,
with,
I know, bro. I've
Yeah.
had to work here.
Especially
so I've had to
you
see some of the people I grew up watching. Like,
I won't say,
you a piece of shit.
Say the name. I
Damn.
won't say the name, but there's one who I was told about that really. I'll tell you off camera. There was one I was told about that really, like, to this day, I just can't. I was never a fan to begin with, but it was really disheartening to hear that they were on some fuck shit.
Anyway, man, you got any projects, interviews, or shows you want to promote coming up?
Yeah, no.
What we got, man?
I appreciate that, man. When's this airing, by the way?
Let's see. What's today? Thursday?
Yeah.
Let's say Saturday.
Saturday? Okay, cool.
No, I said today is Saturday.
Yes, sir.
We'll be definitely be out by Wednesday.
Oh, perfect. So I'm doing a show with Robert Panetti. Shout out RJ Panetti and Marietta, Contrast Social, February 28th. And doing a show in Athens, March 17th with the impeccable Lanny Farmer. Yeah, man. So outside of that, primarily just in my journalism hustle, got an interview with Taylor Polladair Williams from Beauty and Black coming up, which I'm excited about, and launching a podcast focused on interviewing different artists across different mediums, music, comedy,
Got a title
acting.
for the podcast?
Yep, the Creative Eccentric Podcast.
Nice. I like that with Kenny Murray. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Fire.
So, like I was telling you, just because I've seen how difficult it is to run a podcast, I want to get 5 in the bank, fully edited, so I can, launch them 5 consecutive weeks without worry, and then just continue to build up there. So I'm on episode 2, just wrapped that. Hopefully, I should be launching in the next couple of weeks or so.
Hell yeah, man. Congratulations.
I'm really excited. Thank you so
We're gonna be on the lookout
much
for that, man. Thanks for coming through.
Thank you so much for having me,
Hell
man.
yeah,
This has been a great show, bro.
Thank you, bro. Dante's Inferno, man. This has been us. Till next time.
Till next time, baby.